A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.
Oh, hey guys, how we doing today? My back has been bothering me. Good morning, or whenever you're watching this. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever. It's, what is it? July 9th of 2026. And a lot going on today. Before I get into it, I wanted to just request that you like and you subscribe to the channel and get that out of the way so we don't have to do that. So come on into the house, have a seat here at the table. We're gonna discuss things right quick. And I hate to be the one that tells you, but first of all, just as a public service announcement, do not buy anything made in China if you have that opportunity. Okay, it's junk. Everything they sell is junk. It really is. It's a counterfeit copy of something. It's one thing if you want to buy a t-shirt or a piece of clothing or something like that. But if it's got moving parts, or if it's some kind of electronics or something, you can forget it. You're better off buying it from Taiwan or somewhere else. If you can buy it from, being made in the United States, fantastic. That's harder to do at this point. I mean, it's improving, but right now it's not the easiest thing in the world. Anyway, I bought a piece of electronics the other day. Not a huge amount of money. I spent $30-$40, but it didn't work. And it was made in China. And to get customer service, you can forget it. So again, don't buy from China. I knew that going in, knew it from years ago. I know this is falling on deaf ears because everybody's like, yeah, no kidding. Don't buy anything from China. Exactly. So whose fault was it really in the long run? It was mine. So don't do that anymore. Anyway, what we want to talk to you, or what I want to talk to you today about, is just, I don't want to rub it in, but I told you so, right? I told you so. This ceasefire wasn't going to last. Iran, you can't trust these people. They're scumbags. They've been that way forever. They've been that way for 50 years. You can't trust anything they say. Right now, that country is in such upheaval that no one's in charge. There's no one in charge. And we're going to get into that here in just a second. The supreme leader, nobody's seen him. We don't know where he's at. We don't even know if he's alive. You've got half a dozen, if not a dozen, factions trying to garner power. The negotiators who are talking to the United States are now these Iranians who are going to the negotiations to try and work this thing out. They're threatened with their life when they get back because they're seen as cowards. It's a mess. It's a mess over there. And what did I say from the get-go? You're never going to be able to trust these people. And the only way and the only thing that they understand is force. That's it. That's all they understand. I mean, how hard is this? So I told Trump. I mean, well, I wish I could have told Trump this is not going to work. Okay. And it's not. And here's something that this is the meme of the day. Okay. And I don't want to alarm anybody, but I'm concerned about how stupid people are, right? Aren't you? I mean, I don't want to get into this because I'll go off into the weeds somewhere, but I mean, you go uptown and some days I just go, what the hell, what's going on here? What are we doomed? And I think that has to do with a lot of what's going on right now. You cannot trust the Iranian hierarchy. You cannot trust the Iranian government at any level. Does that mean you can't trust an Iranian, someone who is Iranian? No, it doesn't mean that. Any more than someone who says you can't trust Americans. That's not accurate either. You can't trust the American government for the most part up to this point. Now, Trump, on the other hand, I think you can trust him. You make a deal with him. He says, "Hey, we're gonna honor that deal." Fine, but at the end of the day, he knew going in that this wasn't going to work. I really believe he knew that, and now it makes it look like he's gone above and beyond anything else. This is for the world to see. I believe. I think that's what Trump did. I think he said, "You know what? I'm going to make it look like I'm trying my darndest to get this thing settled, but I'm dealing with lunatics." And I think that's what he's dealing with, because listen to this.
Me, I think it's over.
Now see,
I don't want.
They were asking him about, and this is when he was at the, NATO meeting, and naturally it got off on, what's going on in Iran. Okay, so they asked him, said, what about the ceasefire deal? And this is what he said. This is what he said, and I agree with him. Now watch this. Okay.
Me, I think it's over.
He thinks it's
I don't
over.
want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is?
I love this guy. He talks like I do. They're scum. They really are. They can't be trusted. They can't be trusted at any level. And he knew that going in. And just because I pointed it out doesn't make me a genius, because anybody with two brain cells that rub together knew this was never going to work. Now, how's this all going to play out? I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. I think ultimately we will come out on top, of course. It's just how we get there. So listen to the rest of this. I just absolutely love this. This guy, he cracks me up. Listen to this.
Me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And
come on, Don, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel, please.
They're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Now, that's a very good point he just made there. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. I said that too. I've said that from the beginning. They absolutely would use it. They may not use it on us because they don't have a delivery system, but they would definitely use it on Israel. There's no doubt about it. And their enemies. Their other enemies, which apparently is everybody in the Middle East now, because nobody's taking these guys' sides. So listen to the rest of this. I love this.
Speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo.
They're cuckoo. Oh, my God. I love this guy. I really do. I'm going to miss him. We've got about a little over 2.5 years left of Donald Trump. And I know that he's not going to fade into the sunset. I understand that. But he's not going to be president again. I mean, they talk about a third term. I don't think that's possible, but he's still going to be a force to be reckoned with, and people will go to him and ask questions. I just love this guy. They're cuckoo. They really are. They really are. And here's the thing. He's saying he doesn't want to bomb their infrastructure, their ability to clean water, make water, that kind of thing. I disagree with that. You have to do this, and I think eventually we will. We will be forced to do that. I don't think there's any getting around it. You just can't. And what's funny is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but check this out. Now we got thousands mourning the supreme leaders their week-long funeral procession. Okay, this is Ayatollah. This is the old man. The old guy that was in charge, and we bombed him. I think we killed him the first day of the attack, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, took him out. Now they've been holding that body for 2 months now to have a whoop-de-doo funeral. Okay, that's what they want to do. They want to make it look like they're still in charge, that we still love this guy, and we're not going to back down. Now, here's the interesting part. Here it is. The thousands gather in Najjar, Iraq, during ceremony of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Okay, look at these lunatics. Look at these people. You're telling me these people are sane? No, you can't deal with these people. You can't. You simply can't deal with them. Look at this. Look at these people. Look at this. It's unbelievable. What's going on here? You cannot deal with these people. It can't be done. Look at them. They're everywhere. They're lunatics. They're cuckoo, as he put it. Cuckoo. And here's the interesting part. The new guy, right? He has not been seen in public since he was supposedly elected. That's how fractured this government is. You can't trust these people at all. You can't. There's no negotiating with these people. They will backstab you. I mean, where do you think they came up with the idea of Alibaba and the 40 thieves? Where do you think that came from? It came from this kind of stuff. These people are no good. They need to be taken out. They really do. And what's funny is today, on the 9th, and this may have already taken place because obviously it's on the other side of the world. And I don't know if we would do this, but all of the ambassadors from around the world came and attended this funeral. Okay. Now they're all gone. They all took off. They got on their planes and flew back to Pakistan and Russia. Medvedev, he was there. People from all over the country, or all over the world, were there for this ceremony for the Ayatollah. Okay, they were there. I mean, I don't think they wanted to get involved in this. They just want to show that, hey, okay, he died. We're sorry. Now we're going to go. It's like attending a funeral, going to the funeral home with somebody you kind of know or somebody you worked with. You're going to show up and say hi, and then you hit the street, right? And you're gone. You're gone. Same thing here. Well, tomorrow is the main ceremony, and all the leaders are going to be there, all of them by themselves. And guess who's looking down on that? Guess who's there with a satellite? Guess who's got planes flying around just on the outskirts of Iran with bombs that could take them all out? Now, would that be the thing to do? In my book, it would. That's just me. When you can get all the leaders from a place that hates your guts together in one spot, and you can take them all out and maybe not kill an ambassador from Pakistan, wouldn't that be the way to go? Wouldn't that be the way to go? I think it would be. This needs to end. They started taking pot shots at ships in the Strait again. This has to stop. This has to stop. It just has to. We can't continue down this road. And here's the thing that I think we should do. I think we should just, now you're talking about Iran, they're saying the Strait of Hormuz is theirs. Okay, that's their territory. I say no. I say the United States takes over that area and we police it from this day forward. Close a couple of bases in Germany or in France or in Japan. Take those funds, that power, and bring it to the Middle East. Set up a I guess an iron curtain, okay, in that area. You screw with us, you die. It's that simple. That's that simple. This is that strait is very, very, it's essential to the world economy, okay? And it needs to be done. It really does. We need to protect that area. And I got a feeling of those aircraft carriers and all that firepower is going to be there for quite some time. Because you got lunatics in Iran that are basically rebels. They're acting on their own. That's what they're doing. They're factions. These people, anytime there's a vacuum in a Middle Eastern country, that's when all hell breaks loose. Because everybody wants to be in charge. Everybody wants the power. And that's what's going on right now. In Iran. You're going to find this out maybe 6-8 months from now, maybe a year from now. There's going to be some analysis on this. There's a vacuum right now. They absolutely don't know who's in charge. And the guy who's supposed to be in charge hasn't been seen for months. They say he got burned on his face and maybe his legs. Who knows? He hasn't even made a statement, an audio statement. I mean, the last thing I saw, they had a cardboard cutout of him that they were kissing. I mean, these people are weird. I mean, they're so weird. Look, I want to show you this too. This is interesting. Watch this. These are grown men. Okay, grown men. Now watch this. This is at the ceremony. Have you ever seen that? I mean, look at this guy on the right here. Look at this guy. Look at the guy on the right there. He's looking there like, what the hell's going on here? These guys are crying. Give me a break. Look at this. These are believers. These are absolute believers. Look at him looking at that guy. He's going, are you kidding me? Give me a break. Look at that. They still hate our guts. They still do. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change at all. It just, you think you can flip a switch and change people's belief system? You can't do that. It's impossible. It can't be done. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I'm waiting for a text from someone. It's not a big deal, but anyway, I want to play something. And this all works together here. Okay. I want you to know, because I believe this firmly. And I don't say this lightly. I wouldn't. Do I want death and destruction in Iran? No, I don't. I don't want the civilians to die. It's not what I'm after. It's not the people of Iran's fault. The vast majority of these people, I guarantee you, do not agree with this. They do not agree with Sharia law. They do not agree with the way their country's being run. Why would you? Why would you as a woman, a female, be in favor of Sharia law? Which means that your husband can beat the living shit out of you anytime he feels like it. You can't drive a car. You can't get educated. You have to cover up from head to toe. What woman would be in favor of that? None. Which I think is funny, because this feminists in the United States, the progressive feminists of the world, you know who I'm talking about, the blue-haired ones, nobody's standing up for these people. Nobody says a word about that. No, we talk about transgender, and we don't talk about the people of the women of Iran, who at one point in my lifetime were able to walk out on the street in high heels and a short dress, a skirt, go to school, get a job, not cover up. They were capable of that. They were allowed to do that. Yeah, but not anymore. Not since the revolution, not since the Islamic Revolution. You can't tell me they don't want that. So, but they can't say anything, because if they do, they'll kill you. It's real simple. Hell of a religion, isn't it? Isn't that a great religion? If you don't believe the way they believe, they'll kill you. And folks, it's coming to the United States. It is. You can see it creeping in. It's like a cancer cell. Okay, it's tiny right now. It's tiny right now. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But I want you to listen to this guy. This guy's amazing. This is a cleric, a Muslim cleric, and he's going to explain to you what they are trying to do, what their goal is here. Well, I thought it was going to play. What is the problem here? Okay, it's not going to play. Okay, anyway, the point is they will tell you, and you can see any number of places on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, they will tell you what they believe. They believe that they need to take over the world. They'll tell you that. They have no problem telling you that. That's what they want. They'll say it says in the Quran that we need to take over the world. And the believers should be, they don't use the word killed, but dismissed, taken care of. And we will do it by force. And right now what they're trying to do is take over the United States. It's in the infancy. It's in its infancy, but it has to be stopped. It really is. I mean, I got this from a friend of mine today, and it's an interesting map. And it says mapping the second biggest religion in every U.S. state. Now, I did some research on this. It's not quite as bad as this makes it out to be, but it's close. Okay. Now, if you look here, Islam is throughout the Midwest, and the southern states. And all right, got distracted there for a second. But what I wanted to talk about here, this map's a little misleading. It's Islam is. Oh, I gotta get different glasses on. I'm gotten all distracted here. My goodness, what are we gonna do here? Yes, yeah, it shows the Midwest and the East Coast looks like it's Jewish, which makes sense when you think about it, and Florida. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Now, is it quite this bad? It really isn't. But the point is there is a cancer. Is any cancer good if you've got it in your body? No, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So here's more of a breakdown of what it looks like. I'm from Missouri, so I'm in the Missouri area here. We show Christianity is basically the big boy in town. But as you see, green is Islam. Okay, there's 392 counties in the United States that Islam is the largest tradition other than Christian. Okay, that's not a good thing. And if you look up here in Minnesota, where they're having so much trouble, and in Wisconsin and Michigan, that's a big issue here. Northern New York State, you've got Pennsylvania. You can see where it's at. Look at Southern California. Now, these are based on, I think it's 2012 statistics, because we haven't had a census since then. So it's gotten worse. This cancer has gotten worse. There's no doubt about it. But you can see, and look at Texas. Look at that. Look at the green down there in these counties. That means that Islam is a larger tradition in these counties than Christianity. And again, I'm not saying that it's going to take over tomorrow. What I'm saying is they are attempting to take over. This is a cancer, and it needs to be eradicated. Look at Florida. Look down here at Florida. Central Florida is just loaded with them. And I know in my area, if you get closer to St. Louis, you'll see mosques. And I can't imagine, I can't believe this, but in the United States in 2026, in certain parts of Michigan and Minnesota, they actually have a call to worship that's broadcast out in the entire city. That crap that they do in the Muslim countries, that call to worship, so you can hear it all over the town or the city you're in. They actually have that in the United States. We have to eradicate this, folks. This has to be stopped. Am I calling for a crusade? I'm not calling for violence. What I'm saying is I'm predicting violence. I'm not calling for it. I'm telling you this is going to happen. Just like I told you that the ceasefire was never going to hold. You cannot trust these people. Islam is evil to the core. Okay? This is Ishmael, the bastard child of Abraham. That's where this comes from. You cannot trust these people. Go into any convenience store that's not owned by a chain and see who's running that thing. Okay? We've got them in our town. We've got a liquor store up here in town, and it's run by, I believe it's people from Eastern Europe. Okay? They're Muslim. It's that simple. So they're trying to take over. That's what they're trying to do. Now, when I say this, these statistics, it looks really bad here too. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something else here. Okay. This is U.S. religious groups in the United States. Christians represent 62%. Okay. That includes evangelical Protestants, mainline Protestants, Black Protestant, which I think is funny that they break it down like that, Catholic, Latter-day Saints, Orthodox Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses, and other Christians. It's 62%. Other religions represent 7%. Muslim is about 1%. Now, this was in 2010. This is right, probably prior to the latest census, but we'll see. Point being is, they do represent a part of our population, and we know it, and it's growing. Okay. Now, if you get down here, 29% of U.S. adults identify as religiously unaffiliated. So you've got atheists who are 5%. Okay. And I always find it funny in atheists. I mean, why is that? Why is that even considered a religion? I mean, that's like saying that's like giving a name to someone who doesn't collect stamps, right? That doesn't make any sense. Same thing with agnostic. I mean, it's like agnostics are like, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's not a religion. Okay. So I would just say non-believers would probably be the best way to go. Atheists, people who practice the atheist religion, which I think is hilarious because I don't know why not believing in something is even considered anything, but that's a side issue. What am I getting at here? And I'm about to sneeze. I apologize for that. Hang on just a second. Had a sneezing fit. Couldn't help it. But I guess my point here is that something's got to be done, folks. It's happening in Europe. I think this influx of illegals, this influx of Muslims into our country is got to stop. Nothing good will come from this. Okay? Nothing good will come from this. We have to, I believe, make it, I guess I compare it to smoking. Okay? There was a time in the United States when smoking was no big deal. Everybody did it. Okay? You could smoke on a plane, you could smoke in a public place, you could smoke at school, you could smoke. That was fine. But then they said, you know what? This isn't good. It's not good for the non-smoker. It's not good for the smoker. We need to stop this. And they eradicated it. They made it illegal. Okay? You cannot smoke in a school. You cannot smoke on a plane. You smoke on a plane, I swear to God, that's a federal offense now. A federal offense. You get caught, and they even warn you about it. I don't know if you've heard the latest, or I mean, if you've flown, if you listen to the when they're showing you how to use the the seatbelt and all that, they say you go in and disable a smoke alarm in a bathroom on a plane, you are guilty of a federal offense. They've made it that. Okay. I think that's what we need to do with the Muslim religion. I really do. Now, I know some people immediately will say, hey, First Amendment right, you have the right to religion, which for the most part, I agree with that. I do. But this religion is a little different. What if someone said sacrificing 5-year-olds is part of my religion? Would you allow them to do that? Of course not. Of course not. Murder is illegal in the United States. Okay. Invading the United States to take it over is illegal too. They're coming in under a false premise is what they're doing. And they're telling us straight to our faces they're doing it. You can see countless videos on either Twitter, Instagram, YouTube of people of Muslim religions telling you straight to your face that their intent is to take over the United States and the Western world. That's it. That's it. And again, I'm not endorsing violence. What I am doing is predicting it, and there's a difference. I'm observing this, and I'm making an observation about what we're leading up to here. You're talking about a crusade. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Be it the 13th century or now, it's the same thing. You have to eradicate this. You have to stop it. You have to push it out of your country. This cannot continue. It just can't. It can't be allowed to happen. We have to take a stand. Because have you seen any of have you seen most of the Muslim countries? They're hellholes. They really are. Why are these people leaving these countries? Why are they doing that? Because their country sucks. That's why. It does. They've destroyed it. So they're leaving. They want to come over here where it's nice. We've got air conditioning, all that. And then what they want to do is destroy our country. They want to take, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. They want to take what we've got destroy it and turn it into where they left from. They want it to look just like that. It's counterintuitive. It's self-destructive. Why would you do that? Why would you walk into somewhere that's better than the last place you lived in and then try your darndest and make it your mission in life to make this nice place become where you just left from? It makes no sense. Trump's right. They are cuckoo. I think you should have a t-shirt. I'm thinking about having a t-shirt made that way. Trump was right. They're cuckoo. They're scum. I mean, I don't know any other word for it. And is that pretty strong? Maybe. Maybe it is. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's accurate. I think it's an accurate depiction of that religion. I really do. Now, should you be allowed to believe in what God you want to? Of course you should be able to. But I don't think in that belief system, I should feel and make it a generational thing that our ultimate goal is to destroy anyone who doesn't believe what we believe. I don't want to destroy these people. That's not what I'm after. I want them to go away. Hit the bricks, pal. You don't like it here? Get the hell out of here. Elin Omar is a good example of that. She comes from Somalia. She's a Somalian immigrant. And I'll tell you another thing. I don't think if you're not a naturalized citizen, if you were not born in the United States and you're not at least third generation American, okay? That means let's say your grandpa came over from, let's say, Nigeria, okay? And he had a son. Okay, that's fine. Son can't become a governor. A son can't become a senator. A son, the second generation can't do that. Third generation, maybe. Third generation might be able to become a senator or a representative or run for higher office. Fine, I got no problem with that. But you have to prove that you assimilated to the United States. You cannot come over. Imagine if I walked into your home and you were a non-smoker. And you said, hey, I'd appreciate it if you didn't smoke in my house. And I said, I don't care what you think. I'm going to smoke in your house. And you're just going to have to get along with that. You're going to have to, and actually, you're not only going to have to accept that, but you're going to have to celebrate the fact that I'm smoking in your house. That's the equivalent of this. That's what they're doing. They're looking at you dead in the eye and saying, I don't care what you think. And I'm not going to change my way of life, my belief system, my civilization. I'm not going to become part of yours. But I am going to take advantage of all of the positives that you've built in the United States. But I'm not going to change my religion whatsoever. I'm going to act like, and I'm going to live my life, and my family's going to live their lives like we're still in that shithole country we came from. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't to me. And I think it's time the United States and every American citizen put their foot down. And I guarantee the founding fathers did not see this coming. One of the reasons they made it where you can only be president for 2 terms was to prevent in a monarchy. That's what they wanted to do. That was their whole purpose of making that, by giving that a term limit. They did not want a king, okay? They just broken away from a monarchy. The British, that's what they didn't want. And at the time, people did not become politicians for life. They didn't do that. I don't believe the founding fathers saw this anywhere in the future. They really didn't believe that was going to happen. And now what have we got? We got career politicians, which is bad enough. But the last thing you need is some guy who moved here a year ago, became a U.S. citizen. Let's say he came from Iran. Let's say he's an engineer. He came over to, let's do this whole scenario. Let's see if this makes any sense to you, because it doesn't to me. There's an Iranian. The United States helps him. He's 18. okay, just out of high school. Maybe he's brilliant, got a high IQ. He's allowed to come over in the United States. Federal government helps him get a education, becomes a civil engineer. The whole idea is so that he takes that back to his country and builds his country up to be something better than it is today. Now, do I agree with the American taxpayer paying for that? No, I don't. Completely different issue. Let's just say he gets the education, moves back to Iran, finds out he doesn't like it anymore because he's been in the United States for 4 years. He decides, I'm going to move back to the United States. I can make more money over there. Why would he? And he's allowed to do that. Comes over here, becomes a naturalized citizen, takes all the tests. Let's say he goes through the process correctly. Let's say he does. Takes the oath, becomes a U.S. citizen. Starts working in the United States. Decides, hey, I'm going to run for political office. I'm going to run as a state senator. But I'm still Muslim. I still, in my heart, am an Iranian. He'll tell you that. But he wants to run for political office in the United States. He is not assimilated to our way of life over here. And he wins. Now, what he's going to do, he's going to use his power as a state representative to turn the state that he's living in into a Muslim-looking place. He may even vote for Sharia law. That's how it works. This should not be allowed whatsoever. Should never be allowed. If you're not a naturalized citizen, you're not third generation, you should not be allowed to run for public office. I don't think you should be allowed to run for dog catcher, in my opinion. Take the education we gave you, go back to that shithole country you came from, and see if you can't make it into a third world country instead of coming over here and trying to destroy the one we've built. That's the way I look at it. Is that hateful? Is that racist? Is that Islamophobic? So be it. Guilty as charged. Okay? Guilty as charged. Do I care? Absolutely not. Is it illegal? No, it's not. No, it's not. But I'm telling you, folks, mark my words. They're having trouble in Europe right now. People are pushing back against this. They're sick of the Muslim religion. They're sick of these people coming in and taking advantage of their system. And they're pushing back with violence. And it's coming to the United States. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. I mean, look at Texas right now. They've basically made Sharia law illegal down there. They were trying to build an entire town down there that was separate from the rules and the laws of the United States. They were going to make their own laws in this area. And you were not allowed to live there unless you were Muslim. So apparently, they also, not only do they want to take over our religion, destroy our country, but they want to be racist as well. They hate the white man. They do. The Muslim religion hates the white man. It's uncivilized. It's a clash of civilizations, is what it is. And we're allowing it to happen. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen, why would you allow the enemy into your camp? Why would you do that? This is a Trojan horse, is what this is. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are allowing the enemy into our camp. We've done it with everybody. We do it with China, we do it with Russia, we do it with everybody. We allow these people to come in. They set up shop. They act like they like the lifestyle, which they do. They love the Western lifestyle. But they're still committed and they're still loyal to the people who put them in this position. And the Muslim religion is still faithful. Anybody that's over here is Iranian is still faithful to that country. You'll see it, they're flying their flags in the United States. I thought I'd never see this in my lifetime. When I saw on the 4th of July, people flying flags other than the American flag. Never thought I'd see that. I never thought it'd be tolerated in the United States. Did you? Did you think that was ever going to happen? That we would tolerate that? I never did. That's how weak we've become when it comes to this. You have to put your foot down. And again, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. I'm not calling for violence. No, that's not what I'm doing. What I am doing is predicting it. It's just a matter of time. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. There's how do we eradicate this? Well, first of all, you have to put an end to immigration. Right now, we are at a negative population growth in the United States. We're negative. More people are actually passing away than we are replacing them with either birth or immigration. I think that's a great thing for a while. I think there should be a test, don't you? Don't you think there should be a witness test of some kind? Some kind of an oath that you will assimilate to the American way when you come in. And this includes your family too. If your family's not on board, then get the hell out of here. The old man's say he's in in tech, okay? Living in, I don't know, Bosnia. Smart guy, okay? You're gonna come over here. He wants to come over here. He wants to immigrate. He wants to bring his whole family. Say he's got a wife and 4 kids. That whole group has to assimilate. Now, you want to talk Arabic in your home? Fine. You're fine. That's fine. But I don't want to see your wife out in a hajib or jib jab, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't want to see that. Don't want to see it at all. She has to assimilate. The kids have to assimilate. You have to learn to speak English without a fucking accent too. These Indians, they got into our country. They've taken over the hotel and hospitality business. That's another one I can't tolerate. Nothing I hate worse than getting on the phone and hearing somebody who's got this thick Indian accent. It pisses me off. How about the rest of you? What do you think? Do you like that? You know immediately who you're talking to. Immediately. Same thing with the Muslims. I'm sick of it. And it's happening right before our very eyes, and nobody's saying anything about it. It has to end. Trump's the only one. You do not want these people in your country. You don't. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. But I will say this. We are doing exactly what we should do right now. And this is getting back to the subject I was on. I got off on a rant there. Some would say it's filled with hatred. Fine, whatever. I'm old enough. I don't really give a rat's ass what everybody thinks. I don't. Just because I'm witnessing it doesn't mean it's wrong. I mean, what's the old saying? You're going to believe me or your lying eyes? Well, I can see with my own 2 eyes what's going on. And this is not good for the country as a whole. Trump's right. They're cuckoo. You can't deal with them. So, I guess that's all I got today, actually. Nice talking to you. It was a lot of fun. And again, like I said, if you could, subscribe and like the video and give me a shout out. I'll read them all. Okay? And that's all I got today, folks. And remember, I live by this. Okay? Everyone is entitled to my opinion. That's the way I look at it. Okay? All right, you guys have a good day. Peace out.